Welcome to A Simple Life with Clint, Clay, and myself, Cal. We are going to have a super busy day. Here's what's going on. Our pastures are done being, the leased pastures are done being grazed. They're finished for the year. We're not doing any more grazing on them. They'll get a break until May. But that means we have to do a cattle drive. So today we are going to take you along for what we do when we move our cattle from those leased fields to our home fields. We have to take them down the county road. It's only like a quarter of a mile, maybe a half a mile. It's not that bad, but that being said, the road on the other side of our property is a highway, and our road just dumps out onto it. It's not like there's a ramp or something. So we are driving the cattle towards the highway, so we do have to be conscious of that. We have to block off the road because sometimes we get traffic through here. They think they can go 55, 60 miles an hour on an old dirt road. And so we do have to block the road off and put up wire so that way the cattle don't decide to go into somebody else's field or pasture or your front yard and start eating the grass in there. So there's some work that has to be done. So we're gonna take you guys along for that. Thank you so much for coming along for the adventure today. I hope you guys have a blast. Okay, so the boys and I are going to start putting the post up. Clint's gonna be in the back with the wire, and I'm gonna be on the side, and I'm gonna be putting the post up as we go down the road, and we'll show you kind of how we get the road set up. So this isn't anything new. There's a gentleman named Greg Judy, and I use some of his other practices, and he's actually the one that I first saw move cattle like this. And you know, for the boys, this is like the adventure of a lifetime. You'll actually hear, you know, Clay's like really worried about cars coming, and Clint thinks it's a big cattle drive. But you know, when I was their age, if we were gonna move cows down the middle of a road, it would have been a big deal to me too. And so this is one of those things that the boys get to help a lot, and they get to be part of this. And actually, we pull in the whole family. Generally, everybody's involved. I think the only person who wasn't involved today was Colette, and she was probably watching Cecily.
Are you going to push down the cows, Dad, or... Dad, Clint's friends are waiting down here. I don't know what to do right now.
Clay, tell them we're doing a big cattle drive, so can you wait a couple minutes?
Hey, tell them about the cattle drive. They want to get home.
They'll have to wait a few minutes. All right, here they come.
Did you put a line across from Josh's property? Because
I did. You're gonna have to put the one up across from Craig. Clint, go get that set up.
right, I'm just saying, did you have a line across Josh's driveway?
I did. I just put it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what do I get?
Just start it up and drive nice and slow. I'm gonna get it going, okay?
Okay.
went really smooth. We had a couple cars that needed to get by before we had the cattle on the road, and they were able to do that. And then our neighbors who got kind of stuck waiting because they lived past the leased fields, and so I already had the cows getting set up and we had all the fencing and the road blocked. So they waited a few minutes and it went really smooth. You know, one year we decided, you know, it'll be easy. We'll just push the cattle down the road. We don't need to put the line up. And that was the year that we had to move the cattle twice because they got halfway down the road and then decided to turn back and go back to the fields, and the rest kept going. And it was an absolute mess. And after that, I always put the wire up, always block the road, and we just do it, and we're done in about maybe 15 minutes from, you know, the time we block the road to the time the cattle are all the way down at the other end, whether we're going to our main fields or to the leased fields. It doesn't really matter. It's really quick. Yeah, it takes some time to set it up, but when you're done, nobody's upset. Nobody's got a mild, nobody's had a mild heart attack or had any real issues. You know, everything just goes nice and smooth. I can't think of how many things I do around the farm where I'm standing on the back of another farmer who created a method, built a technology, helped develop the process that I'm using that allows me to raise animals this way. And you might say, well, yeah, humans have been raising animals on the land for generations, for millennia. It's true. But we have a lot more things that we have to worry about nowadays. Cars, neighbors' land, fencing, all kinds of stuff. And so we have to be a lot more careful. And so there's a lot of things that, you know, for example, moving the cattle this way, I probably wouldn't have thought of it. But Greg Judy in Missouri thought of it, so thank you. Every time I get a chance to learn from somebody who has done it the hard way and then found ways to improve on that, I'll take it. So the cattle are moved. Now it's time to clean up. It's pretty easy. We had one car waiting, but it happened to be a neighbor, so it was easy, and they actually enjoyed watching it. So, hey guys. All right, well, we're gonna get all the fencing torn down, all the wire torn down, and then we're gonna set these guys up in a pasture. So their pasture is gonna be a different spot completely. All right, we've got all the fencing cleaned up. Now what we need to do is we need to go pick up their water troughs and bring them back and go and start setting up the other pasture. The cool part is they're perfectly fine where they're at right now. They're super happy. We're just gonna get water and everything set up for them. And what do you boys think? It's time for some popsicles?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately they ate all their popsicles, so I guess I just get a popsicle.
No.
All right, I'll share a daddy popsicle with you.
Yay.
All right. Okay, so I'm out here, and this is the pasture that the cows are gonna be going into. So you got some taller canary reed grass, a bunch of grass that just is falling over. It's pretty much done, but we're gonna let the cows come through here and graze on it. I kind of just want them to work this area over. I'm gonna give them about half of it, and then in a couple days, depending on what that looks like, we'll give them the next bit of it. And then the next area they'll go to is on the other side of this fence. The reason why I'm not putting them there first is there's not a lot of shade over there, and we're kind of in a little bit of a heat spell. It's nothing crazy, but it's warm enough that I don't want them being there if it's in the 90s, you know, or even the high 80s. So we're gonna get them here first. There's enough shade here in the early days, the early portion of the day, right here because of these trees. There's a couple trees for them to get underneath the overhangs and keep cool. And then in the evenings, they can come over and get on this side and kind of stay cool over here. They didn't cut this when they did the hay because I think they thought it was really wet, and it wasn't. I kind of fixed some of the drainage issues that originally made this field really wet. But this whole field right here, I'm really contemplating turning this into a pig pasture, the whole field. I'm really contemplating putting high tensile wire around the whole thing and then breaking it into basically pre-setting it up with lanes so I can just move the pigs right down and right back and right down and right back. This has been 2 years of me considering this. The reason why I haven't done it is because this field, we do get some good hay out of this field. And I've run pigs in the past, and this field does really good with pigs run in it. So it's dry enough that it doesn't become a muddy mess, but it's moist enough to grow almost year round. I may do it. It's just, I'm just waiting for something to push me over the edge from consideration and contemplation to doing. So far, nothing's kind of pushed me over the edge. So, okay, well, we're gonna get the cows set up. My little helper just arrived. Now, I just want to point out something. I just asked those boys to go round those cows up. They were on the other side of the property. Is that him?
Yeah.
That's all of them?
Yeah.
You sure? That's okay. All right. Good job. Let's come help me, and then we'll bring him back this way. Well. With young men like that, dear God, there's hope. There is hope. Good job, buddy. Good job.